Alright, so I'm going to be showing how to open up and disassemble this Dell Inspiron 5515. So first thing, it looks like we're going to need a J0 or JS0 screwdriver. Alright, we're going to undo all the screws from the bottom. The customer lost a couple of them, it seems. Alright, you want to keep the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. I don't know if you can tell, but the hinge is broken on this one, so that's what we're going to be trying to repair. Right, so let's go ahead and get the bottom cover off. It looks like these two screws actually stay attached to the cover, so keep that in mind. It does actually help push the cover up for easier removal. To keep the screws in order, I just put them flat side down like that on my desk in the pattern I remove them. Alright, so let's go ahead and do that. Alright, if this video helps you out, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade and repair their devices as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Alright, so let's go ahead and finish getting these last screws out. Alright, also if you can't help out monetarily, it would help a lot if you could watch a few of my other videos and then like and comment on those as well, because that's what the algorithm likes to see. Alright, so now that we have this part lifted up, I'm going to pull that and let's see if we can pop some clips. So I'm just sliding my fingernail along the edge in between. Obviously if you don't have fingernails, you can use pry tools, plastic pry tools. Right, I'm going to go along the side here as well. Okay, can we pop the front up? And there we go. So, okay, we got the bottom cover off. And here you can see the little washers that hold the screws to the cover. Alright, so let's go ahead now and zoom in a bit. That's what it looks like. We're going to now disconnect the battery. Okay, let me get a screenshot here real quick though. Okay. So to disconnect the battery, we're going to zoom in. I'm going to use my fingernails here at the wings of this connector, and I'm basically just going to wiggle. Oh, it popped out easier than expected, but usually I wiggle it like that, and then it pops out. Right, looks like this cable does need to be swapped over if you get a replacement battery. I don't want to try ripping it out, but yeah, usually it'll be best if I can see the replacement battery to see how it's designed. Oh, it looks like this slides down. I don't know if you saw that. And then after that, you can pull this connector up. You have to do unroute it from here, but I'm going to slide this back over because I don't want to take that out. Okay. All right, but as you can see, this metal piece slides down back and forth. Okay. So we're going to slide that back over here. There we go. And you slide it using this raised lip here, okay? All right, battery model is right here, V6W33. So if you need to replace your battery, that's the model. All right, anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at the other components. You got 2 slots for RAM here, and it says DDR4 only. As you can see, basically you pull these 2 tabs to the side, and then the RAM can pop up. All right, looks like this one's kind of stuck here. Is it hitting the hinge? That is so weird. Okay, there we go. It pops up, and it's PC4 3200AA. You should be fine with any PC4 3200AA RAM. So if you want, you can put 2 16 gig sticks. I don't think they have 32 gig sticks, but yeah, you can put 2 16 gig sticks. Looks like there's some broken plastic here. Is that broken? Yeah, I'm gonna try and get that out. This piece doesn't want to come out. Oh, looks like it's stuck in there. Let's try with needle nose pliers. There we go. Okay, I don't want that rolling around inside the case, so we'll toss that. Alright, so we got the battery disconnected. Usually after disconnecting the battery, it's a good idea to open the laptop up and then press and hold the power button for at least 15 seconds, alright? So you want to do that to drain any residual power. If you don't, there's a very good chance you're going to fry the screen backlight circuit or the screen or even the LVDS cable, so you want to be very careful with that. Okay, we'll hold it a few more seconds. It's only 15 seconds, so take that time and make sure your computer doesn't destroy itself. Okay, we got to be careful here because this cable is popping out. So let's actually disconnect this cable now so we have a little bit more room to work. We're going to peel this up. Okay. You can see it has this adhesive here. You want to be very careful. You don't want to accidentally rip off any of those little components that it's stuck to. So carefully peel that up. Once you got that peeled up, there's a metal latch. I just get under there with my fingernail, flip that up, Okay, once you flip that up, you can grab it, and then I push at the bottom of the latch to get it out, just like that. Then we can go ahead and unroute this cable here. Okay, goes that way and that way. Okay, and now we actually have that cable disconnected, and this side it looks like we don't need to disconnect anything, and it looks like the wireless antennas go down into the keyboard. So first thing we're going to do now, after removing that, is to remove the hinges. So to do that, we're going to actually be using a JIS1 or J1 screwdriver, and you actually want to open the laptop about 90 degrees. The problem is this hinge is broken, so it's going to be tough, but usually what I do is I hang this off the edge of my desk. So let me see if I can do that. I'm going to have to see if I can reset the camera and then get in a good position to show you guys this. Okay, so give me a second and I'll be back. Alright, so here you go. We got it hanging off the edge of the desk here. Now we're going to undo the screws holding it in place. Again, make sure you are using a JS or J1 screwdriver. Okay, so there's one screw there, and then there's two over here. They do have little arrows on the hinges showing where the screws are supposed to be, so that way you don't put it in the wrong spots. Alright, keep that in mind. And I am going to have to let some after I put some JB Weld to fix the hinge, I'm going to leave it sitting overnight before I put it back together. Okay, so we're going to pull this hinge out, or the screen out first, and then I will show you. You do want to have someone help hold the screen up so it doesn't just drop out as you undo all the screws, so be very careful that it doesn't just fall out. Okay, now we've got those 6 screws out. We should be able to lift the screen up vertically, so you hold from both sides and then lift it out. And as you can see, the other hinge, because it's broken, just stayed there. Okay, so we're gonna move that aside for now, and let's go ahead and look at the other components. You don't have to remove the screen to remove all these other components, but I'm just gonna show this. Okay, so let me readjust the camera again. All right, and we're back. So this plastic piece fell out, and also this plastic piece fell out. We're gonna see if we can somehow get those back in. We'll see. All right, so inside of here, you can see you have this separate headphone jack or 3.5 millimeter auxiliary port. You got the USB 3 port, SD card slot here. You also have the CMOS BIOS RTC real-time clock battery here. And that's in this. Make sure you know the red wire is going towards the outside, the black wire is going towards the inside. You have this little connector here that goes, this is to the IO board, all the way to the motherboard here. Okay, and does this have the same, this has the same kind of latch system as the LCD LVDS connector, same thing as this one. Okay, this connects the power button with the fingerprint reader onto there. So if any of these pieces are broken all the way to this cable, that could damage the power button, and then the power button might not work. So keep that in mind. You have one wireless antenna here with the wire going up to the wireless card all the way over here. And then you have the other antenna here with the wire going all the way underneath and up to this as well. You got the M.2 PCIe NVMe SSD. There's one screw here, then it pops up slightly and you can pull it out just like the RAM. This little bracket here, you can actually lift this portion. You can see it has like a little dimple. You have to pull that up slightly, and you can actually slide that whole bracket off, and you can move it over here. Okay, you can move it to this spot if you want to use larger, the longer SSDs. Otherwise, you won't have a place to put it, and this bracket will stick up and damage the SSD. So make sure you do move that little bracket over. Again, it has a sliding mechanism. You can see this other one, where this one actually slides out this way. So when you put it, it slides in underneath, basically goes underneath these two parts, and then the other dimple kind of falls into that hole. So I believe this one is actually facing backwards. So actually, no, it's the same. So it would slide out that direction if you're taking it out. I don't want to mess with that because they don't have an issue with that. CPU is soldered to the motherboard or logic board here. There's no GPU, but it looks like if they had one, it would go right here. Okay, you have a little connector here for the DC jack charge port All right, so if that breaks, you can easily replace that, it seems. This one, it should, yeah, it just pulls out of this area and it connects there. And it looks like there's another little slot here, which it says for another SSD. So this is for another short SSD. This one doesn't take the full size because the speaker's in the way. So if you want, you can actually move this SSD here, and then you can upgrade with a full-sized SSD there. And you got the keyboard backlight connector here, keyboard connector here, and I'm pretty sure there's a touchpad or trackpad connector. All right, so that's pretty much it for the inside of this. If you're wondering, these kinds of cables have these flip latches. So the keyboard backlight has the flip latch here, then it pulls out that way. This one has the flip latch on this side, then it pulls out that way. This one also has the flip latch here and pulls out that way. And then you have the fingerprint reader, power button. The latch is on this side. You flip it up that way, and then the cable pulls out this way. All right, we're gonna set this aside and let's see if we can fix the hinge, and it's gonna have to sit overnight, so. All right, so as you can see, they have this one piece here, but this side, the plastic fell out, and then I'm not sure if this is from this side or this side, but this is going to have to click together, hopefully. Let's see, which side is it clicked to? I'm hoping it's this one. Okay. And that does sit together nicely. So we're gonna have to see about getting this piece on both sides. I'm gonna use it on this side even if it's came from this side, because I want this to cover the LCD LVDS cable here. As for this side, I might just wrap some tape or something over it. We'll see. All right, so now that we got that, let's see, you can see this hinge is also kind of breaking. So we're gonna have to actually remove the screws from this. Okay, I'm gonna just clean this off a little bit with a toothbrush to get like any dust out and stuff. Okay, we're gonna remove the 3 screws in here. This is also using the JS or J1 screwdriver. Okay, so we're gonna remove these screws. We're actually gonna toss this, the broken plastic pieces, and we're gonna actually hold it in place with JB Weld, which is a very strong epoxy. You don't want to use other random types of epoxy unless you know it's stronger than JB Weld or equivalent, because other stuff doesn't hold up well. I've used other things a very long time ago and they didn't hold up well, so I stopped using those. Okay. Now we're gonna see, how can we get this one out? I guess we're gonna have to break the plastic here if possible, because this one doesn't seem to want to come out. I'm gonna try. Usually what I do is I grab it with needle nose pliers, but you can see there's nowhere to grab here because the way it broke. So I don't know. Let me see. Maybe I can hold the plastic still so it doesn't spin around. And then we can try and turn this. There we go. Okay. Perfect. There we go. Alright, so let's see the way this goes. So you want the side with the arrows, with the stamped letters and arrows pointing towards you. So that way when you close it, it's gonna go that way, okay? All right, so now a little bit tricky part, we gotta peel up this, and we gotta be very careful because you don't want to damage the screen. The other thing is this is dented, so hopefully it's gonna be okay. But we're gonna carefully try and peel this up away from the screen. All right, this is somewhat risky, so you want to be very careful. You can sometimes use some isopropyl alcohol to help with peeling it up, but if you're not careful, it can pull some of the adhesive residue underneath the screen and cause some permanent color distortion there. So I try and avoid doing that if I can, but hopefully we won't end up breaking the screen trying to do it this way. All right, so we're carefully peeling this. Okay, you can see it's slowly peeling, and it's actually separating the layer from the screen, so we have to be very careful here. I might have to do the isopropyl alcohol method here because it's just separating from the screen. One other thing I like to do is I use this thin tool here. I'll get in there and push the layer down while I'm pulling up on this to keep the adhesive strip that runs along the screen down. Okay, and that sometimes will help as well. Okay, but in this case, I don't know, it's being very difficult. Let's see. Okay, it's going. Okay. Slowly work our way over. And we're just slowly working our way over. All right, the other side seems to be broken as well, so we'll see, but gotta be very careful here. Okay. So I'm slowly just working my way down and holding down the adhesive to the screen. A little scared doing this because the screen is in good condition. Slow and steady. Let me try using a little isopropyl alcohol here because it does help cut through the adhesive. Alright, so put a little bit. Let's see if I can get it to go. Okay, and it's slowly working. Okay, put a little more. Again, you want to be careful with this because you don't want to cause permanent discoloration. Okay, you can see the adhesive is now getting cut through with that isopropyl alcohol a little bit easier. And now we're stuck again, so let's put a little more. Okay. And work it in. You can see how after adding the alcohol it can slide quite a bit more. And then we get stuck again because we get to a dry spot. Can add a little more again. You don't want to add too much, just enough to kind of get in the layer. Okay, because again, you don't want it flowing into the actual screen. Okay, this is being a real pain. Alright. I'm going to try and work from this side so I have a different position on my hand. And I don't know if that's helping or not, but okay. Slowly peeling up. And you want to be careful not to put pressure on the screen itself. Alright, let's get a little more alcohol in there. Doesn't take much. Okay. You can see now the tool is kind of just sliding over in there. Okay. And come on. Alright, now we gotta pry up the other side here. Okay, so basically pulling up from the center, I'm basically rotating it this way. But it's stuck because they put adhesive in there. And all this adhesive makes it difficult. Alright. See if we can go from here and then work our way up the side. At least a little bit. Okay, I hear the adhesive cutting. And there we go. Come on. Man, they make this screen like really stuck in there. Okay, pull this. Come on. Alright, now that we got that, come on. Okay, so I'm gonna now push in from here and then pull up, and let's see if we can get it out. You can see it's coming up, but it's still stuck on something. There we go. Okay, that adhesive is really strong. All right, so now we can hopefully pull this back. There we go. Oh, you can see the adhesive. Okay. All that adhesive in there. All right. And hopefully the screen is perfectly fine. All right. It's not easy getting these things out. All right, so now that we got that, you can see how wobbly this thing is in here. So we're gonna have to put some JB Weld. Okay, here you can see that screw just broke off by itself very easily. And then you have these. If you're wondering what this is a stretch release tab. So to remove the screen, you would grab this and you would just pull it straight back, and it will, as it stretches, it releases the adhesive. So I don't know if that's the actual name for it. That's what I call it, stretch release adhesive. All right, and then let's check these screws. So I'm gonna pull the stretch release tab out of the way, and let's see if we can twist it. So this screw kind of tightens. Yep, so these screws can tighten. We're gonna loosen it up and pop that out for now. Pop this one out as well. Okay, so these two seem to be okay, but we are gonna put some some JB Weld in there as well to hold it better, because the other side snapped off and this was kind of wobbling quite a bit. So let's see if we can get that out of the way. Okay, it does seem okay. Most likely what's going on is the plastic that's holding on to this metal is coming loose. Because it was wobbling. So let's try and brush this up a little bit. Okay, I'm going to use some air to blow any dust out of there. Oh, looks like this little foot here is also in there. Okay, so this cable here, as you can see, popped out. And how are we going to get this to stay in there? Since I didn't see it before it broke, I'm not 100% sure if this cable is supposed to go underneath or how it's supposed to be. Most likely it's supposed to go like down here like this, but on top of the hinge. So this hinge, I believe, goes this way. So just like the other side, there's two screws for this side and then one screw for the other. And this is kind of annoying how it has this little tab here where the screws mounts go. But yeah, all right, let's go ahead and move that out of the way. Okay, and then gotta hold this up. Hold that adhesive tab out of the way. We do need to clean this up a little bit to get any loose debris out. Okay, I'm going to use the air blower. Okay, little piece of plastic came out. And then we get this inside here. Again, I think this actually goes on top of where the cables are. And then this will sit like that. So this is going to be a little tricky. Let's see, so this goes here. And then we're going to have that piece that broke off somehow go back in here, but this is dented, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to put that back in. So this piece used to be like attached here. Yeah, it used to be attached here. I don't think I can put it back exactly the same. This is going to go in here, and then this is going to sit down like that. And oop, that adhesive is too strong. And then we're going to get this in here, and this will stick about there. So this will have to kind of pull back. get that tucked underneath, and then this goes on top, and this cable needs to go under here. Okay. Wow, that's gonna be tough. How am I gonna make it stay there? That's gonna be a problem, isn't it? This cable needs to stay tucked under there and be like this, and then this piece will go here. Yeah, that's gonna be tough. I don't know how I'm gonna make it stay there. Let's see. This might have to be tucked underneath the screen, actually. So this thinner one, pretty sure it's supposed to be tucked under the screen here. But this bigger one, it can't go underneath because there's the screw there. So this definitely needs to go like that, tucked under, and then this will have to sit like that, and this has to go out of the way. Come on. Okay, and then there's a little mount area here, but that aligns this hinge, but it's snapped off. Oops. Right there. Okay. So this is supposed to line up with that, just like this, and it's supposed to sit like this. Okay, and this cable has to stay under there, otherwise it's going to get glued to the hinge. So I'm not sure how I'm going to keep it over there, but yeah, this cable's going to probably pop out and then get all covered in glue. Let me see if I can somehow fix that with a little bit of tape. So we can get some tape here. Got a piece of tape. Let's see, how much of this can I tape? I don't need that much. I'm going to just use a small piece. And let's see if I can get that taped into place here somehow. So this would need to be tucked under there, and then got to keep that there, so we'll tuck this tape underneath that cable if possible. Tuck that under there, push that into place. Okay, and then we need to cut this so there's only a little bit. Make sure you don't cut the wires. Sorry if you can't see. I know this is, it's very hard to maneuver this and show it on camera, but I'm doing what I can. All right, I'm gonna cut it first, and hopefully that's enough tape that I have. Okay, so I'm gonna push that in, tuck that under, get this tape and push that under. Okay, now that we have that, we can hopefully roll this tape over and use that to hold it in place. All right, there we go. So now that tape is holding that cable in place, and now what we need to do is again fix the hinges with some epoxy or JB Weld. We do have this plastic piece which has to go on top, so as you can see it goes like that. So I'm gonna need some super glue or something, and this needs to be held into place right here. Thing is, it used to have these melted plastic tabs, but those all just completely broke off. I'll try with super glue. I don't know if it's gonna hold, but we'll see. All right, let me go grab some. I'll be back. All right, I'm back. I got some super glue. I don't think this is gonna work, but we'll try. All right. So I got this piece. I'm gonna have to move this out of the way so I don't accidentally get super glue on it. I'm gonna put a tiny bit on this and a little bit on this. Sorry, I'm just getting super glue on both sides. Okay, I gotta close this up because I don't want to accidentally get it on other things. Alright, let's see. We're gonna have to hold this up here and push this into there and this side onto here, and We're gonna have to hold it there for about 30 seconds or so. And hopefully it's lined up properly. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. My fingers are probably gonna get stuck on it. 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Alright, you get the idea. 19, 20-ish. 1, 2, 3, 4, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Alright, so hopefully, oh, yep, my finger's stuck to it now. That wasn't the plan, but I figured, ow, can you let go, please? Okay, now I lost a bunch of skin. Alright, I really put my skin into this one. Oh, and it just fell off. Alright, so I'm not sure how I'm going to make this stick if that didn't work, because my finger stuck to it. So why didn't this stick to it? Alright, I don't know here. Probably going to have to use the JB Weld and hopefully it will stick to this. But I'm not so sure. Okay, I mean it's stuck a tiny bit, but not enough, right? It's not anywhere near what's required to get this to hold together. So what we're going to have to do, we're just going to have to hope, right? Because this doesn't seem to want to work at all. Alright. Yeah, alright, so that's not going to work. We're going to have to hope that we can get some JB Weld or something to hold it together. I'm going to clean up the other hinge here. Alright, so we got both hinges. This one will go here. And this one actually still has some screws to help align it, so it's not as bad. We do have to make sure this stays out of the way. That's going to be difficult. Okay, so we're going to have to make sure that and the other one. So on this other side, I'll put some JB Weld into where the screws are, and hopefully that will help hold it as well. But there's already kind of some stuff going on here that might make it not really work too well. We'll see. We'll try. All the force is going into where this part meets, because that's where the hinge is holding. So it's kind of weird that they put the screw holes so far apart from there. That's a bad design choice, alright? But that's their choice. That's the choice they made. So I'm going to try and get some epoxy over to this area where it should be holding, and then we'll see. Alright, let's go ahead and get the JB Weld, and we'll start filling it up, and hopefully this repair will go well. Again, it is going to have to set overnight, so that's one thing with JB Weld. Alright, oops, actually we're going to need these two screws, huh? We'll try and put these two back. Alright, so we'll move this, we got that. We'll have to figure out this plastic stuff here. But yeah, alright, JB Weld is 2-part epoxy. Okay, you have the black and the white, alright. And we're just going to mix equal portions. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we have all those portions to fill, so I'm going to try and eyeball it. If you don't know, just put extra. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is probably way more than enough, but alright. It's better to have more and then just toss the excess than to not have enough and then have to worry about doing it again when it's all setting and messy everywhere. Okay, so go. Get that off. There we go. Okay, next we have the black one. try and get equal amount. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and hopefully that's about equal amounts. Okay. Go. Clean this off so I don't accidentally mix it in together. Alright, now we gotta stir the two portions together and get a nice even mix. So I'm just gonna stir this all together like this. Okay, this looks like a nice gray color. That's what we want. Make sure to get it all scraped together. Get that all mixed. Alright, check the bottom. I do need to mix it a bit more. Alright, get that all stirred together, and I think we're good. Now we gotta fill all the little screw mount hole areas. So first thing, it's best to pull this out of the way. It's hard to record this, I'm sorry, but I'm doing what I can. Alright, so what we're gonna do, actually let's do this side first since we have screws to help hold it in place. So first thing I'm gonna do is I gotta hold this tab out of the way. It's very annoying. Okay, and now we gotta get the JB Weld epoxy into there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fill where that screw hole used to be. Okay, and we don't want to put way too much, but okay, get that there, let go. Okay, this side we have the two, but we don't really need to fill it up because there's the screws that are gonna be helping hold that in place. But I'm gonna fill in this little square hole area. I don't know why they have that there, but let's fill that up. Okay. I also need to check where this hinge is going to end up. So, okay, it's gonna end up in this gap here. So you can actually see there's an indent there. So what I'm gonna do, which I probably should have done first, well, let's let go of that. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna get this and I'm gonna put the JB Weld on this. So I'm gonna get some here. Okay, this is where most the hinge is taking the force. Okay, so we're gonna get JB Weld on there. All right, this is the more important area. Then we're gonna have to fill up that. I'm gonna put it on something so it stays without, oh, I'm gonna get that on everything, aren't I? Okay, so I was trying to not get it on stuff and then I got it on stuff. Let me wipe that off before it sets. Okay, so we're gonna do that. All right, next thing, we're gonna put some more in that gap because that's where the hinge is going to sit. And we want to make sure there's a nice solid connection there. All right, oops, there was a little foil there, but I guess now it's mixed in with the JB Weld. All right, so again, we're gonna have to hold this guy out of the way. And again, that's very annoying. All right, and now we gotta try and get some in there as well. This side shouldn't need much because the screws are gonna fill in there, but I'm gonna put it in the gaps in between. And then when we push it down, hopefully it will just flood it. Okay, so there we go. We got that. Make sure you put this the right direction. We're gonna get this back in there. Okay, and there we go. All right, we're holding that, and let's go ahead now and get the screws in. The screws are also going to be somewhat holding. Okay. It's going to be a little tricky because of this little plastic flap that goes down. All right, so here we have one of the screws, and it's going to smush the JB Weld through. All right. There we go. We'll get the second one. Hopefully their screen is okay after prying this stuff out. We'll get this screw in there as well. These screws are going to be permanently stuck after this. Okay. Get that one in. All right. Now, I don't know if you can see, but the JB Weld is spewing out. That's what we want it to do. Okay. Kind of spread it around a little bit there. And it's also spewing out of the small hole where the alignment pin was over here. Okay. And what we're going to do, I'm going to get some plastic wrap to cover that. So when we close this on top, it's not going to permanently stick to that. And that's important because if you ever need to replace the screen, you want to be able to pull this back off. So I have some plastic wrap stuff here. You can use any plastic cling wrap. Okay. But let's go ahead and this stuff likes to stick to itself, so it's a little bit tricky to get like a thin layer. But yeah, you get the idea. All right, so I'm going to use some scissors and just cut, oops, get the tape off there. Okay, so we're going to cut a piece of this. All right, and try and open it up so it's flat. Okay. All right, so we're just going to cut like a chunk of this stuff out. And we're going to cover up that piece, that JB Weld there. Make sure it's not going past into the screen. So you can see there, we just cut that to cover it. And we're going to do the same thing with the other little spot. Okay. Cover that up. Alright. Oops, got my fingernail in it. Alright, so get that in there. Okay, so if it was just one side, this would be so much easier, but since I'm doing two sides at once, it's quite a bit of a pain. The customer was trying to get me to do it for cheaper. I was like, I can't. I know it's gonna be tough. I've worked on enough of these to know how much of a pain this is going to be. Okay, so I'm gonna use some tape here and see if I can make a little tab and hold that thing out of the way, because this piece is being very annoying. So I'm gonna get that, pull that tab over and tape this. Hopefully that will keep it, hopefully it won't flip back over on its own. Okay, so we gotta fill these other three spots now. So we got this one, or these two here, they merge together. Okay, get a little bit in that hole there. All right, let's get some more. Get that in there. Kind of put too much now, I think. Let's fill up this square as well, just so it can hold that plastic in place really well. Okay. All right. Scrape up a bit more. Hopefully you guys are able to see what I'm doing. This is a long video, I know, and every one that breaks is going to be different, so it's hard to basically it's not something you can just easily just follow along exactly, but hopefully you'll be able to get it. All right, we'll get the JB Weld there and a little bit on this alignment pin area, even though there's no alignment pin. And all the rest is going to go there. We do need to get this hinge and do the same thing as what we did with the other one, but I think we're not going to have enough to spread on both sides, so we're just going to dump it all on the hinge part itself, and hopefully it will be enough to smush out. So we got this, we're going to just get it all in here. Okay. And hopefully it will be enough on its own to smush out the edges and fill the gaps. Because that's all we got. Alright. Try and get a tiny bit more scraped up. Put it there for now. Okay, there was a tiny bit left. Go ahead and get that on there. Okay, so we got all of that. Now we're gonna go ahead and get this into place. It's a little bit tricky because there's no more alignment pins on this one, so not 100% sure where exactly it's gonna fit, but there we go. And I think I might have to actually stir up a little bit more of the JB Weld because it's not flowing out through there. So that sucks, but let's do it. We got to. Right, like I said, it's better to have too much than not enough, but I ended up with not enough, so. Alright. About that much, maybe more. Okay, that should be good. Okay. Go. Right, more of the black portion. Okay, there we go. Let's stir this up. Sorry, I'm going off camera again, aren't I? Alright, well, let's get this stuff mixed up again. That all up, good. Scrape that off. Strip it up again. Alright, that looks well mixed together. Scrape it all into one pile again. Okay. Alright, scoop that stuff up and blob it into place. Now that we kind of have more, I think we can fill it even more into those gaps. Make sure it goes in and is overflowing. This side's not really overflowing. Okay. Alright, let's blob that in there as well. Alright, so now that we got those all, let's pull this back up. And okay, now we're going to fill up that little gap area again. Since we have extra, might as well. Okay, I'm going to actually just pour it on here, and that way when we put it down, it will spread itself out. Okay, and just like that. All right, let's go ahead and get this back in. Be very careful with this thing. Difficult part is finding where it should be sitting completely flat. All right, then we're gonna have to get the plastic wrap again, but this time we gotta cover a lot more spots. Okay, so we're gonna hold this out of the way. All right, let's get the plastic wrap again. Let's see, I still have some here. This one and we'll plop it on there. Let's see, that's too long actually. Should work. Can I get it under there? Push that blob in there. Okay. And this cable can now go on top. Now we gotta get all that side. Gotta cut another piece. Sorry for the long uncut tutorial, but hopefully it will help some people. Editing's kind of a lot of work. I don't like editing. But hopefully the lack of editing will also be useful. Okay. So we'll get that out, and we'll get this into place. Stay flat, it keeps wrapping on itself. All right, put that in there, push that in, get that to cover all those areas. Okay, in there as well. Okay, might need a little bit more. This is probably way too much. Let's cut a little bit. Right, we should be done with the scissors, and I'm going to try and tuck it in from this side here. All right. There we go. All right, let's peel off this tape that I used to hold that little tab in place. Hopefully it will come off cleanly and not be stuck on there. Come on, peel it off. Uh-oh, I'm accidentally lifting up this. It's not what I want. I just want this tape to come off of this tab. Stays down in there. Okay, I'm gonna have to hold this and peel this way. I don't know if it's gonna be possible. It's pulling itself out. I accidentally taped onto that. I'm gonna use the pliers and see if I can hold it in place while I peel the tape away. Yep. Okay, that seemed to work. And keep that adhesive strip from getting covered in glue. And probably gonna need another thing with that. I need to cover this side some more. Alright, so we want to cover this. We don't want the epoxy getting onto it. Okay, so now we got all of that. Let's go ahead and get this cable into place. And let's see, how are we going to get those plastic pieces back on that broke off here? So we have a little more of the JB Weld. I'm going to scrape this stuff up. Okay, and this stuff takes a long time to harden, so we're going to see. I'm going to put a little bit on this here, and a little bit on this side here. So that's there, and then this also had some on that, so we're gonna spread it on this. And I covered all of this up, but if I can get some from under there, that would probably be good. Let's try and lift this out of the way and get a little bit, because we put a lot under there. Okay, so I'm going to try and take some out. Alright, and we're just going to spread that on there. And hopefully that'll work. Let me see if I can get some more from under there. Okay. And that should be plenty. Alright, we're going to set that aside. Now we have these two pieces. Let's go ahead and set this side first because it's easier. We're going to pull this back, rotate it, get that to go under and there. Okay, and then get this side down, get that into place. We're going to have to cover this with something. Alright, now we have this side, which is more complicated. We're going to have to, same thing, kind of like pull it back and tuck it in. This cable's kind of popping out. Alright, so this, we got to somehow get in there. Sorry, it's probably going to go out of view of camera, but I'm basically going to try and get this to stay on there at the same time. So this will go there. Is that? The problem is I don't know if this is centered. I think it is. Alright, we're going to pull this back out a little bit. Oops. Stay in there, please. Man, this is so difficult. Okay. Especially because of this cable. I'm going to try and get this to stay hooked into this. Okay, and now how am I going to tuck this under? I'm going to have to pull this back, tuck that under, and hope this piece stays on. Okay, like that. This cable is coming out of where it should be. There we go. Actually, this cable, how's that even going to work? So it goes like this, but it's too thick. Is that how it used to be? I guess so. It seems like it. Alright, then this goes there, and this can pop in there. This piece is going to be a pain. We got this that needs to go back here. Oops, sorry. This needs to go back here, so let's lift this up somehow and get this piece under there. Okay, the epoxy is going to need to scrape behind, just like that. And we're going to have to hold this in there somehow. Pop that down and push this back in. Okay, so this is going to have to somehow stay sitting like this. And at the same time, we need to get it back into the computer to make sure it stays aligned properly. That's the hard part. So if you didn't think this was, if you thought this was already hard, well, we'll see. All right. Clean off all the excess here. All right. Sleep soon. Alright. This one is too much work for the amount of pay. Alright, so we got that, and of course now it's oozing out because we had too much, I guess. Let's try and wipe away the excess so it doesn't cause any problems. Alright, so we got that. There's all this gunk here. Okay, so now we need to get this line back up and put back in the computer. So let me move the camera back and I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, so here we have it again. This is the screen reassembled. We're going to put this again with this hanging over the edge of the desk. Now we have the hinges hopefully all lined up properly. You do want to check this, make sure things look good here. All right, and this I don't think can align 100% perfect, but hopefully it will be good enough. Okay, and we might have to use some tape or something just to hold these pieces better. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna use some tape here to tape that together. This fan seems to have some dust gunk in there, so let's try and pull that out, and there we go. Right, look at that dust bunny that was hiding in there. Let me actually clean this a little bit more. Okay, I'm gonna blow the rest of the dust bunnies out. Alright, so, like I said, I need to, that's the little hinge cover thingy that's going on here. So let's actually set this aside again. Sorry for this. Alright, we got this piece, and I'm going to try and just tape that together, I guess. The other side doesn't have the little piece. The customer lost that, so not too sure what to do about that, but we'll see. Maybe cover it with some tape as well. I mean, that side doesn't really need anything. Okay, so cut out there, and hopefully that's good, hopefully. Okay, so I'm gonna get this underneath, oops, sorry, get that underneath. Line it up. Wow, I eyeballed it pretty well. Okay, so I'm gonna try and pinch these two pieces together, and then wrap this over, push that into place, try and use screwdrivers to wrap it nicely. Okay, and then while trying to pull both pieces together tight, wrap it around, and there we go. Okay, so that should hopefully hold that into place well. The problem is when they broke it, it bent this whole thing, so it's not aligned 100% perfectly, but there we go. Okay, so this side, to get this having something here, what can I do? I can't just, okay, I'm gonna cut a piece of plastic. Maybe we can use this plastic here, and we're just gonna cut like a shape to kind of hold in there, okay? So I'm going to cut this. I'll shape it later, but For now, I'm just going to cut a piece. Okay. Cut a flat piece, a flat sheet, and then I'll size it in a bit. Okay, so this will tuck in there, and then it's going to have to curl a bit. So let's see, we're going to need to cut. I need it to be even to that thing here. Oh, actually I can't cut off much from there. I'm going to try and even it out, so we'll cut both sides. Okay, so let's see, that's pretty even. So now we just gotta kind of round this a little bit. Try and shape it up. I know this is not something that many people are gonna even need, so most you guys aren't gonna need this. All right, I'm gonna cut it here, and hopefully that's enough. Hopefully I didn't cut too much off of it. And try and round this up by putting a bunch of bends in it and then unbending it a little. But this will just allow it to form a curve. And we'll try and tuck that in there. Okay, and that sheath looks like it will work well. Okay, so now we need a way to stick it down. So first I'm going to cut a piece here to kind of just hold it in place, and then we'll work on another. Oops, I didn't cut it enough. Then we'll work on another thing to kind of just wrap it around to keep both pieces together. So first, oops, actually that might be able to do both. Okay, so let me take this plastic piece out if I can. Uh-oh, I tucked it too far in already. All right, I guess let's get this tape. And I guess that you can use that to pull it out. Kind of, not completely. Oh no, I got the JB Weld all over it. Okay, so I'm gonna stick this on here. Got the JB Weld on my fingers. Okay, but that's good. That means it'll be held down in there, hopefully. Okay, so get that down back into that groove. And pull this up to there, and we'll lock it onto that hinge cover piece. All right, so there we go. Now we're going to tape the whole piece into place. Close enough. All right. Okay, so now that we have this piece, I'm going to wrap this over like we did on the other side here. Oh no, it's stuck. Didn't mean to do that yet. Let go. Okay, we need to make sure that tucks in and stays in there. I need to wipe off the excess that's coming out because I don't want that part coming out there. Okay. Alright, so let's get this in again and tape that. Wrap that around to get it solid. And then we got this, and we're going to use that to help hold that in place there. Okay. Again, this thing is just cosmetic. Since there's 2 screws here, this hinge will still work perfectly fine without it, but we just wanted to keep stuff from easily like just going in the hinge area. So there we go. Eventually we can just cut cut the excess of this off, but for now that's going to hold that there, and this will hold that there. Okay, let's go ahead and get this reassembled. This repair is taking way longer than expected. Okay, so we got that. Now that that's hanging there, we can drop the hinges into place, okay? Just like this. And we can get the screws back in. Okay, so let's get these screws back in. One thing to keep in mind, the hinges aren't held in completely yet with the epoxy, so you wanna be careful, make sure I'm actually holding the whole screen up to keep it from moving around. Okay, we're gonna loosely fit the screws first to make sure everything lines up, and then we will tighten them down. Okay, oops. Loosely fit them first. Okay, hopefully this cable's not being damaged from the hinge. Looks like it should be okay. Okay. And you want to leave the screws closest to the corners undone, so that way the bottom screw covers can go in, because that's for the screen, or not the screen, for the bottom cover. Okay, make sure those are tightened in now. Good, and this actually appears to be holding itself up now, which is pretty crazy considering I didn't really secure anything yet. It's now mainly being held in place by the plastic bezel. All right, we do need to get this cable back in. It's going to be tough in this position, so let's go ahead and see if we can collapse this. So this is going to be tricky because you just have this slight amount of tape here. Let's actually reconnect. Let me see, what else do we need? Oh, we can't reconnect the battery yet because we do need to reconnect the screen. It's in a weird position, but I'll try and do it upside down just so you guys can see. But we're gonna get this in. Okay, so get this cable. Hopefully it will reach. I don't know if too much slack was lost from trying to tuck it under. Okay, this goes supposed to go under that hook. Then we have this. Line it up, and it's difficult because I'm doing this upside down. Normally I would be doing it from the other side, but it is what it is. Okay, so now I got that. I'm going to pull both sides in, make sure it's latched all the way. Okay, latch that clip down. Good. If you're working with JB Weld, make sure you don't have JB Weld all over your fingers because you don't want to get that metal stuff into here. Tape that on. All right, so we should be good. Let's go ahead now and reconnect the battery here. I don't think I disconnected or left anything else disconnected. Pinch this together. Okay, I'm curious if it's going to turn on, or do I need to plug it in first? Let's go ahead and push the power button here. Is it on this side? And I do see the keyboard lighting up. And you can see the screen's good. I was a little bit worried there. Actually, is that a scratch? I hope that's just, what is that? Okay. All right, so it looks like it's working. I'm going to restart one time. Okay. And it would actually be best to let it completely set this way. Because now this is actually pushing down and holding the hinges in place. The only thing is this clip is broken here, so it's kind of popping out a little bit. Okay, but that's just cosmetic. It shouldn't affect anything. We should be able to open and close it no problem. But yeah, we're gonna have to let it set completely before we completely get it closed back. Okay. I did do a restart. We're going to now shut it down. Okay, shut down. And it looks like it's all good. So what we're going to do, we're going to now get the bottom cover, put that back on. Okay. Let me clean this up a little bit. It's a little dusty as well. All right, so we'll get this bottom cover back on. Okay, line everything up. It's gonna be a little tricky because this is in the way, so I think we might have to close it, which is gonna be, all right. So what you do is you gotta push down on this. Oops, sorry, let me readjust my camera. You don't need to see my legs. Okay, so I like to push down on here or pull down on this while I'm kind of closing it up. So push down and then close this. Okay. All right. And the reason you got to push down is to keep the hinges pushed down in place. All right. So just like that. Okay. And you can see it closed. So now you really don't want to reopen it until the epoxy set, unless you didn't let it sit properly. Like if it popped out of its place, then you have to actually reopen it to fix it. But okay, it looks like it's good. So we're gonna get this into place, and then we just got to put the bottom cover back on. So this is going to be the thumbnail, I guess. All right, the customer lost several screws, but I don't think I have this kind of screw to replace. Let's see, do I? Okay. I think they might all be the same size. This one might be a longer one, but can't get that stuff out of there. Okay, so we're gonna line this up, click this all into place. I'm gonna see if I have a few of those screws. I think we have to switch, yeah, back to the JIS0 or J0 screwdriver. I'm gonna twist it backwards so it clicks, and then tighten this down. Okay, get that screw into place. Okay, twist it backwards till it clicks, and then tighten it down. There we go. All right, so we got that. And I don't know what the customer did. They said they were trying to do something with it. I don't know if they were trying to change the battery or what. There we go. Click that in. All right. Let me see if I have a few of, at least one or two of those screws. They lost two. They are skinnier, smaller screws, I think. Yeah, they're not the standard ones, so I might be able to use some that are kind of similar, but I don't think I have exactly the same. That's too wide. Nope, that's too skinny. They're like a middle-sized screw, maybe. Okay, I found two that might fit. They're a little bit shorter, and the top is a little wider, but hopefully it will be okay. So I got this screw. Let's see. Nope. That's the problem. They're too wide, so they don't fit in the little mount properly. Actually, this fits. I might need to use a J1 for it, though. Yeah, that fits. Okay, I'm gonna just replace the two side ones, actually, I guess. Yeah. And that works. Okay, so we've got two screws in there. They're not the same exact, but they work. So we'll get this screw back here. This screw here. And that's pretty much all there is to it. We're just going to get all the screws back. Again, hopefully this video helped you guys out. If it did, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others so that they can learn how to upgrade or repair their devices as well. And if it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. We are going to, well, I guess you'll see this instantly, but I'm going to go ahead and open this up after about 15 hours just to show you and that it's working, and that's pretty much it. All right, thanks for watching, and I guess I'll see you in a few seconds, but yeah, see you guys later. Bye. All right, moment of truth. It's been sitting overnight, pretty much about 24 hours. Let's go ahead and see. We got the tape still on there, but should, yeah, look at that. Opens and closes nicely. No problems. All right, we should be good to go. And this is now holding itself nicely. And we got this little plastic piece that's pretty solid covering that. That's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully it helped you out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe, share my channel with others, contribute to the channel if you can. If you can't, it always helps to watch and like and comment on a bunch of my other videos. Alright, see ya. Bye. Oh, and just in case you wanted a close-up view, here you go. That's what it looks like. So this looks pretty good. It's a little uneven, obviously, because there's a little bit of lumpiness from the broken parts there. And this gap we can't really close because the clips are broken. But other than that, yeah, it's good. Also, this is bent, so can't really do anything to completely seal that. Alright, see you guys later. Bye.